You are watching The Book Club. Every Wednesday, we handpick the best books to improve your life. The 15 Best Books on Death. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Hello Aluxers and welcome back. Today we're talking about some books on a topic that's not meant for the emotionally fragile among you. We're talking about the 15 best books on death. Now before you start reading any of these, you should know it'll be pretty depressing, and although no one really likes feeling that way, it's important to accept the fact that all life comes to an end sooner or later, and we should come to terms with that fact. So without keeping you waiting any longer, here are the 15 best books on death. Number 1. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. We're pretty sure everyone watching this has heard of Frankenstein, right? But did you know Mary Shelley came up with the idea for the book in a dream and wrote it when she was only 21? Shelley's classic is a fantastic example that ordinary people can see things larger than life and create something that will last forever. It has delighted generations of readers and inspired countless writers of horror and suspense throughout the years. Isn't literature awesome? When someone says Frankenstein, the first thought that comes to mind is an unnatural creature brought to life by science to wreak havoc and strike terror in the heart of man. However, the book is so much more than that. It's a story about fear, ambition, birth and creation, alienation, and the denial of death. The book has a lot of meaning behind it and is surely a classic that everyone has to read at least once. You can purchase the book from the link in the description or by going to alux.com/freebook and signing up. If it's your first time on Audible, you'll get the audiobook version of Frankenstein free of charge. All thanks to our friends at Audible. Number 2. From Here to Eternity by Caitlin Doughty. There are many cultures around the world with different death rituals and the way to care for the dead. Fascinated by people's different ways of dealing with death, Caitlin Doughty embarks on a global journey to learn more about death practices from other cultures. From Here to Eternity is an adventure into the morbid unknown, exploring death care around the globe and helping readers to view death from a new perspective. Number 3. The Invisible String by Patrice Karst. This little book was intended to be the go-to text that communicates effectively to children the reassuring meaning of attachment and its significance to all kinds of losses. Children understand loss much differently than adults do, and The Invisible String shares a very creative and simple approach to overcoming feelings of loneliness, separation, or loss, which children can easily understand and embrace its compelling message. Number 4. The Orphaned Adult by Alexander Levy. At one point or another, most adults have to deal with the loss of their parents, and that experience can be incredibly tragic and nerve-wracking. With a newfound feeling of identity and aloneness, some people experience a deep sense of grievance for the ones that have been there all their lives. Losing a parent, either suddenly or after a prolonged illness, and whether you are close or estranged, is much more difficult than anyone thinks. Also, some adults feel the pressure to cope with a loss of an elderly parent quickly, which deepens the sense of loss. The Orphaned Adult acknowledges the difficulty that grown men and women go through while handling the loss of a parent, and explores the significance this has in the greater picture of an adult's life. Number 5. Stiff by Mary Roach. Here's a book that combines science and humor in a way that's not for those who are a bit squeamish. In an oddly compelling way, Roach explores the many paths bodies can take after death, and shares the many ways cadavers have contributed to the good of mankind over the centuries. Stiff can either inspire you to donate your body to science once you die, or completely discourage you from taking that path. Number 6. Bearing the Unbearable by Joanne Cacciatore. Dealing with the loss of a friend, a child, a spouse, or any family member can be traumatic for some people, and the reality is that such a loss requires time to grieve, which should be allowed by those who are still around. The author emphasizes that those who lost someone should remove the need to ask others for permission to mourn their loved one. Through many stories of her own as well as others, Joanne Cacciatore opens up a space to process, integrate, and deeply honor our grief. Number 7. Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. Dr. Gawande tackles in his book the hardest challenge of his profession: how can medicine improve life as well as the process of its ending? He uses his vast experience as a medical professional to break down in this nonfiction book the idea of death and mortality. Being Mortal offers a unique perspective that the ultimate goal is not a good death, but a good life worth living all the way to the very end. It's a great work of nonfiction which we recommend you don't miss out on. You can get the book from the link in the description or by going to Alux.com/freebook. As long as it's your first time, you'll get the audiobook for free thanks to our partners at Audible. Number 8. A Dirty Job by Christopher Moore. A normal guy is going about his normal life, married to a pretty woman who loves him for his normalcy. They even have a beautiful child together. However, our main guy's mundane life suddenly comes to an abrupt halt when people start dying around him, and everywhere he goes, a dark presence whispers to him. Soon after, he finds out he's been recruited for a new position as the Grim Reaper and realizes things will never be the same again. Number 9. What Dreams May Come by Richard Matheson. This book explores a variety of paranormal phenomena and shares a philosophy of mind over matter, arguing that the human soul is immortal and that a person's fate in the afterlife is self-imposed. Matheson's compelling tale of life and love after death revolves around a regular man whose life is cut short by an unexpected accident, separating him from his beloved wife. However, he discovers the true nature of life after death and risks his very soul to save his wife from an eternity of sorrow. Number 10. Healing After Loss by Martha Hickman. This is a splendid guide that will help those who grieve to have the courage to move on and trust on the long road to recovery and regaining their life. Healing After Loss has become a classic in this genre that is full of inspiring, comforting, and thoughtful words, proving to be an excellent companion to those who have experienced loss. And Aluxers, if you're interested in living the best life you can so you're happy when your own time comes, click in the top right corner to watch our video, The 15 Biggest Regrets People Have in Life, just so you know what not to do. Number 11. Mortality by Christopher Hitchens. This fresh and vivid work of literature shows how death can be embraced with open arms and confronted rather than taking a defensive position and cowering in a corner. Mortality is a great story of one man's determination to face the unknown, as well as exploring the daunting territory of the human condition. It's very personal and philosophical, displaying a trove of human emotions that can only be expressed when someone is compelled to do so by the enigma of death. Number 12. My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. My Sister's Keeper takes an emotional outlook on how one family handles a child's terminal illness. The author relays a provocative novel where a 13-year-old girl comes to understand her role in her sister's survival while raising some very important ethical issues. Number 13. The Emperor of All Maladies by Siddhartha Mukherjee. From documented cases from thousands of years ago, all the way to the 20th century where doctors raced to cure, control, and conquer this terrible affliction that's been lethal to most everything, is neatly packed and delivered in this book. Mukherjee is an excellent physician, researcher, and award-winning writer that's examined every aspect of cancer with laser precision and a passion like no other. It's an illuminating non-fiction work of literature that provides hope and clarity to those seeking to demystify cancer. Number 14. Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. Here's a classic and uplifting novel about death that's touched millions of readers' lives. Tuesdays with Morrie shares a companionship of a professor and a student where they frequently talk about death with confidence and candor. It's a magical chronicle that addresses death in a way that's emotionally moving yet inspiring. You don't want to miss it. Number 15. It's Okay That You're Not Okay by Megan Devine. Learning how to understand and support someone who's experiencing a traumatic loss can be very difficult. Most people are not properly prepared, nor do they have the tools to deal with those situations. However, Megan Devine has thoughtfully wrote this book especially for such individuals who are looking to gear up and want to support their loved ones through their tragedies. It's a practical guide that offers a profound new approach to both the experience of grief and the way we try to help others who are having to endure a tragedy. And there you have it, Aluxers, the best books on death you'll ever need. We hope you gained something in this video, and before you go, of course, we're curious. Do you think you could ever improve your current perspective on how you see death? Tell us in the comments and we'll be right there with you. And as always, here's a bonus for being so patient and sticking with us until the end. Number 16, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. This is a classic in the self-help world with a timeless message that we are each responsible for our own reality and dis-ease. Louise Hay is a firm believer that whatever we go through in life, no matter how hard it is, we can always come out on top if we can get our thoughts on the right track. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxer. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. If you want more, we handpicked these videos you might enjoy, or head over to Alux.com for the best in fine living content on the planet. Be a part of the largest community of luxury enthusiasts in the world and tell your story.